All right, you guys, we have a very special episode of Tournament Talk today. We are starting season 2, which is all about inspiring stories from amazing tennis players from all over the world. And today we have an amazing guest on the show. She was actually homeless and on the streets and in 19 different rehabs, is currently sober for a while now, and she is currently living her dream as a tennis professional. So, without further ado, let me welcome Erika Sanders. So, how do you say that again?
Sandor-Zur.
Sandor-Zur. We have to get
Hi.
that right because she is on the Instagram constantly sharing her story, and she is always super inspiring, always posting her amazing workouts, all of her training as a tennis pro now. And so super inspiring. Please go follow her on Instagram. That's at Erika Sandor-Zur. And how do you spell that, just so they know?
It's ErikaSandor-Zur.
Perfect. All right, you guys, go follow her. But of course, she's going to share with us her amazing story today. And it's super duper inspiring. I actually met her at a pro circuit event in Mexico. And we sat together after we actually played doubles together. It was super
We
fun.
bonded.
Yes, we bonded, and she basically told me big life story, and I just had to share it with you guys. So, Erika, could you please just take us from the beginning, I guess? Like, tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got started, and how you picked back up that tennis racket after many years of hardships.
Sure. So, for me, the disease does not discriminate. I grew up, I had a wonderful childhood. My dad's from Hungary, my mom's from Romania. My mom has a sip of non-alcoholic white Zinfandel, and she's like, oh, I think I feel it. I'm like, Mommy, there's no alcohol in it. She's like, no, 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 that has to be. And, I played tennis my whole life, and I was at a working at a coffee house my senior year of high school, and I had heard of, like, cocaine and heroin and marijuana and alcohol, and, I thought everything, but, because I was an athlete, I wasn't around any of it. And I went to this little party, and, there was all these white rocks on the table. And I'm like, what's that? They're like, you want to try it? And I'm like, sure. And they put this $30 hit of crack on it. I had never heard of crack. On this pipe, and they showed me how to smoke it. And the second that I took that hit, I was hooked. I was hooked. Within like a couple of weeks, I was out on the streets in the hood of Cleveland, East Cleveland. And so, I went back and forth and back and forth. I would put together, years of sobriety, but I never called it healthy sobriety. And so I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of fast forward all of it to where I am now, and then I'll kind of backtrack what happened.
Okay.
So about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now, I made this vision board. And I thought how awesome it would be to start playing tennis again. I hadn't played in 15 years. I used to play for Ohio State. And the next day after I made the vision board, I ran into my old tennis coach who I grew up with. He took me all the way, to Ohio State. I hadn't seen him in 15 years, so I saw him at a Starbucks the next day after I made the vision board at a Starbucks that he doesn't even go to. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I started playing tennis again, and I thought, eventually at one point I thought how awesome it would be to get center court at a Grand Slam, let the world know that you could be 40 in recovery and have a do-over in life. And so, long story short, about 4 or 5 months ago, I made it to my first pro tournament. So it's incredible because what this disease has done, like you said, I've been in 19 rehabs, homeless on the streets. I drove, from California to Florida, with not a dime in my pocket. I did more drugs and ate better and slept better than I ever did in my life without a dime in my pocket because of humanity. It's unbelievable. And when I'm on the tennis court now, I think to myself, when I have to breathe, I think about how it's crazy that I could breathe now, because when I was doing drugs, there was no life in me. There was no breath in me. There was nothing.
Yeah.
And, I have, they say it's a 1 in a trillion chance to make it, to the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
To be Serena Williams. And for me, I'm already that 1 in a trillion because I'm sober.
That's so nice.
And what it takes, a lot of issues are coming up for me right now when I'm on tour and I'm going to these tournaments, and what it takes, the amount of practice. I play 4 hours a day, and I have a footwork coach now also and a personal trainer, so I spend an hour or more with him as well. In between my training, I also own 2 companies now, and I'm just now starting to build a rehab in Cleveland.
So exciting! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, exciting. I got full custody back of my children 2 years ago, and I'm remarried. Next month, or in 2 months, it'll be our 2-year wedding anniversary. Yay. So, the thing is that, for people who are, tennis fans, or for people, everybody knows somebody or has somebody who is either in recovery or has a family who's in their disease right now. And this is so much bigger than just the tennis.
Yeah.
This is reaching out, and I am that cliche. If I could do it, anybody could do it. Any ism a person has had, I've had, whether it's, shopping or gambling or sex or, an eating disorder or anything to not feel.
Yeah.
Anything, whatever I could do, and I missed so much of my life because I was so self-absorbed.
Yeah.
And now that I'm not sucking out the oxygen out of every single room that I'm in, I'm able to slow down and enjoy life.
That's so beautiful.
It's crazy, though. I was talking in one of my posts in Instagram. I made it to the finals of a tournament a couple weeks ago. I couldn't believe it.
I know. I saw that. I was like, yeah go Erika. Awesome. Crushing it.
And it was in California, and I hadn't really talked about California a lot, of how it really took me down, the drugs, the life that I lived, because I was smoking crack with, cockroaches in abandoned apartment buildings, sticking needles in my arm. It was crazy. And when I was driving to the tournament, I was driving past the street where I had gotten pushed out of a moving vehicle on the freeway from another drug addict like myself. And now I'm driving by that same street going to a tennis tournament.
Oh my gosh.
And having to have the right mental state, to prepare myself for a tennis match, let alone going through, the post-traumatic stress that had happened, and then winning that match. And I got to call my husband on the tennis court right when I won that match, and the two of us we cried together.
That's because so nice. Oh my gosh.
The work that it takes, what we're investing in, and what we're doing to make this lifestyle happen.
Yeah.
So
I think you've already inspired and done so much. I mean, just thinking about where you were not even less than 5 years ago, and to where you are now, and you made literally a 180 in your life, and that's honestly that's what I feel like people could dream of doing that, and you are exactly right. You're that 1 in a trillion that you're talking about. So when you got back into these tournaments and tell us a little bit about what was going through your head. I know you said you ran into your old coach and it kind of sparked the interest and with your vision board and everything, but what was this what's your thing that you want to share with the world, that one thing that you wish you could just scream from the rooftops,
I think that the one thing that I would share with people, and I really feel it when I say this, is that you're never too old, you're never too tired, and it's never too late. I think that it's so easy to hurt and be tired and sad and find any excuse, whether I need to make money or I have kids or I'm not healthy. It's too late. And it's not. You just have to go through. I had to take that leap of faith of the unknown and just see if I could do it. See if I was coachable, if I was teachable, if I was trainable, if I had the will and the desire and the wants. And I needed to be alive again. I needed to find a love that made me feel like I was worth something. And this was for me. I was willing to do whatever it took to feel alive again. I had been dead for so long. And thinking that I had to settle, that this is it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we worked so hard the first half of our life that we should be able to enjoy the second half.
Yeah.
And I was willing. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but this is a land of opportunity, and the whole world really is our oyster. And we're not dead.
Yeah.
If you're overweight, then do something about it. You know what I mean? And if you're tired, get up and take 5 steps one day, and then rest. And then the next day, get up and do 6 steps. Anything to change the brain. And I made a decision and a goal, and I said I was going to do it.
I love that.
I can't even tell you what it's done for my self-esteem, what it's doing for my children, for them to see their mommy coming from the pits of hell.
Yeah.
To now I'm a pro tennis player.
It's incredible.
It's surreal, but it's not easy.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
It takes work, and it takes commitment to myself.
Yeah.
And with that commitment, it builds my self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, and there's moments where I'm just like, there's no way I can do this. But then I tell myself, well, why not?
Yeah.
The only person holding myself back is me.
Yeah, like we're our own worst enemy,
Yeah.
Those little thoughts that get in our head that just tell us no.
So I put it out to the universe, and I give it to everybody that, you're not alone. When sad is sad, happy is happy. Mm-hmm. Feelings are feelings. Hurt is hurt. No matter how you're hurting, no matter how you're sad, no matter what it is, but you're not going to I couldn't get out of it until I made a conscious decision to make a change.
Yeah.
And this, for me, it changed my life. I can't, stepping out on the tennis court, smelling the air on the court and smelling the tennis ball and feeling the racket again and, feeling like a child again. Allowing myself to fall. Allowing myself to not know how to hit in the beginning. Allowing myself to not be good. And being okay with that.
Yeah.
And knowing that this is a process and that I need to have patience with myself. But not to give up just because it's hard. Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
So it's a dream come true. It's so hard when I'm in it, but it's so worth it when I look at myself in the mirror at the end of the night and know that it's a goal that I'm starting and I'm finishing. It's mine.
Yeah. So
who doesn't want healing?
Yeah. It's so good. Okay, I've got one last question for you. If there was a player out there that they just were in a rut right now, and they're just struggling, and they're wondering to themselves, like, do they think they have what it takes to reach the goals that they're trying to go for, or maybe they're just feeling really down in the dumps about their situation right now. What's some word of advice, just something you can say to them to really boost them up and make them feel like they are amazing, which they are? What do you got to say to those people?
Wow, that's a good question. I think the first thing that I would tell people is to take some time alone with themselves and really be honest with themselves.
Yeah.
To see if this is what they want.
Mm-hmm.
What are their motives? Is it for themselves? Is it for their ego? Is it for somebody else? Who is this dream for? And the only person who could really answer that is yourself. And if you're just feeling like, there's so many feelings that are a part of this. So I think that the first thing I would tell somebody is to just sit with yourself and be honest. And if you feel like this is really to thine own self be true, if this is something that you need for you, then go for it.
Yeah.
Then whatever it is that's holding you back, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
Because for me and my personality, if I want something, if it makes sense, if my motives are pure, my intentions are pure, my love for it is pure, and it's not going to hurt anybody else, and it's not going to hurt me, and it's something that I need for myself, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it.
I love that. That was so awesome. You are such an inspiration. I'm sure like anybody listening to this podcast right now is just like overwhelmed with emotions. I mean, you're so incredible. You're going for your dreams. Nothing has stopped you, and you have literally been where most people don't even want to have a nightmare about. Like, it is so inspirational. I love everything you said. I hope that everybody just listen to what Erika has to say here. It's honestly the best advice from somebody who gets it, and so super exciting. All right, you guys, this is a concluding of our first episode of season 2. And if you guys also have any crazy, amazing tennis stories or that are just super inspirational, please reach out and I can put you out on my podcast. And I want to share your story with the world. And honestly, I don't know, Erika's story is pretty tough to beat because that's pretty incredible. Don't forget to go follow her at Erika Sandor-Zur. I can't even say her last name.
It's okay. It's Erika Sandor-Zur.
I can't even. It's
Sandor-Zur.
It's so hard. It's so hard, Erika. Okay, but thank you so much for coming on.
I love you. I think you're amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
I hope that I was able to reach out to somebody and inspire anybody. Just don't give up. You know, don't give up before the miracle happens. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So you're gonna have to go through some uncomfortableness, some discomfort.
Yeah.
And you might have to cry a little. You might have to go through some pain. You might need to question yourself a little bit. But if you wouldn't do those things, then it wouldn't be worth it at the end. Everybody would be doing it. You just got to be a little uncomfortable to get to the other side.
Exactly. Love it. Thank you so much, you guys. Love this episode of Tournament Talk. Do not forget to subscribe to all the channels, YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz, and I'm on Spotify. Share with your friends if you think they need to hear this episode, which I know a lot of people do. And we will catch you guys in the next podcast. Woo-hoo!